Hello, and welcome to the reviewer training for the Ohio Psychologist. I am Keelan Quinn, acting editor for the publication, and this is my second year in this role. First of all, I wanted to thank all of you so much for volunteering your time and energy for this cause. It's an excellent opportunity for professional development, and it really helps out our field. So we really appreciate everything that you do, and this publication would not take place without you guys. The agenda for today is as follows. I'll give you a brief timeline of the yearly process for the publication. I'll review the prerequisites for submitting articles. And then finally, we'll go through the review process that each of you will be going through as the reviewer. So here's a timeline of the entire process for publication. And just note that these dates are their basic estimates. They can change in any given year based on what's going on, but we kind of like to try to keep this timeline as is. First of all, the theme of the publication is decided by OPA the previous year. The call for papers goes out in October the previous year, and all author submissions are typically due in early May. What I do with that process is I go through and I pre-review each article, and I go through to de-identify them and also make sure they meet the minimum requirements for publication. The articles are then distributed to the reviewers at the beginning of June, and that first round of feedbacks are due at the beginning of July. So what I do is I send your comments as the reviewers to the authors, and any article that needs re-reviewed, edited, or re-reviewed comes back to me in mid-July. I send those back to the original reviewers for that final decision. And then all accepted articles are due at the beginning of August. So here are some prerequisites, and this is the minimum that authors need to provide in order for their articles to enter that review process. First of all, they have to fit into one of these categories. First, empirical. We get a lot of empirical articles, especially from students, and they can be quantitative, which is based on quantitative research, qualitative, based on qualitative research. Mixed methods can be a combination of the two, or they could be meta-analysis. And those synthesize groups of studies to come to a conclusion or make a statement. We also accept literature reviews, theoretical articles, which use existing research to advance theory, methodological articles to present a new approach to research, or perspective pieces. So perspective essays, they're very similar to narrative essays, and they illustrate the professional experience. And for any information on these, for any information on what these are, what types of articles these are, you can definitely refer to the 7th edition of the APA manual. For this publication, we do not accept the following. We don't do brief reports, book reviews, comments on or replies on previously published articles, so there's no discussion. And then we do not do opinion pieces or commentaries. And those are different from the perspective pieces that we talked about before. The final set of prerequisites are these articles have to be related to the theme of the year. They could be no more than 1,600 words, not including the APA abstract, references, or biography. And I like to do like 1,600 plus or minus a couple hundred, just kind of give that flexibility. But anything way beyond that, I will send back to the articles and ask them to reduce. Each article must contain an APA abstract, unless it's that perspective piece. And then any references must be in APA format. Once they're accepted, the authors then have to provide a brief biography and a photograph for publication. So the review process. This is a double-blind process, and that means that authors do not know who the reviewers are, and the reviewers do not know who the authors are. What happens is I will send you each of you an email with a link to the online reviewer form along with the de-identified articles. And it will be one link that you go to and you rate all of the articles individually for. So here is the link for this year and what the reviewer form basically looks like. Definitely at first you do enter your name, your last name, the name of the article, and then the date that you're doing the feedback, and then the type of article. So each article is rated based on 5 sections on a 5-point scale. 1 is unacceptable, 3 is acceptable, 5 is above expectations. And then where you're rating it on is the relevance to OPA theme, incorporation of research, practice, advocacy, and or technology, contribution to research, practice, advocacy, and technology, organization and clarity, quality of writing. And then the last section, if it's an empirical article, you're rating the discussion, or if it's a non-empirical, the professional tone. So it's pretty basic in all of these sections, all of this criteria, you're just giving it a basic rating, 1 to 5. And you can see that there are boxes, strengths and weaknesses in each of these areas. And it's really important to put a comment in each box. The feedback is what authors really look for, and that's how we can help them become better writers and kind of support them on their writing journey. So it's really important to put what strengths are listed, what weaknesses are listed, and that can help them do their edits. But if for some reason there isn't a weakness, say you give a 5 for a section and there aren't really any weaknesses, you can just put not applicable or not available or NA, and vice versa. If they're getting a 1, there aren't too many strengths, maybe put an NA for the weaknesses. It's really important to know that authors are provided a JPEG of this exact form. So they do not include anything from here up. So they don't see your name or the date that it was reviewed or anything like that, but they receive JPEGs of their ratings and comments. So it's really important to use clear language, respectful language, provide constructive feedback because they are seeing your words. The comments and sections, suggestions that you provide, they can be as specific or as brief as your reviewing style requires, but as long as you're giving healthy feedback for them to be able to edit their articles, it should be fine. So at the end of the form, you're going to indicate your decision. So the 3 decisions are accepted with no changes, so as is. You can accept with suggested changes. And when that happens, the authors must make changes or respond to your suggestions, and then they resubmit it, and then I give those edited articles back to you guys to make the final decision of accepted or rejected. And then there could be rejected. So the thing is, for any of these, you're required to write why and what the recommended changes are. So if something was recommended for suggested changes, you have to at least list some type of recommended changes. You could easily refer to sections above to make those changes, whatever your style, whatever you would like can be done. Rejected, you have to put reasons for rejected. Again, the authors receive JPEGs of this, so they see your language and your comments. And then it does give a little rating. We are not really using that this year, but you just hit submit and then it goes to where it goes, and I will take care of the rest. So you will receive the email. They are provided a JPEG, and then we, again, make sure it's good language so that it helps the authors. Okay, we went through the changes or the decisions. Okay, so that's pretty much it. It's pretty short and sweet. We wanted to create a reviewer process that makes the most of your time and energy, but it also provides the authors with the best feedback to provide. This process keeps all reviewers on the same page and very consistent. Do not hesitate to contact me with any questions or concerns. This Ohio Psych editor email, I monitor it more frequently during this time while the editing process is being done. So don't hesitate to email me. And I've also included my business phone in case you need to contact me by phone. Thank you so much again for your time and happy reviewing.